Some internet stars just can't escape the chaos.
Shake a little ass. For fun!
They attract drama like metal to a magnet. No matter how hard they try to polish their image or smooth things over with apologies, the storms keep coming back. It's Pokimane.
And it's not because I got like $10 million. It's just because I'm good as I am.
And if there's anyone who defines that messy cycle better than anyone else, Pokimane. For more than a decade, she's ruled Twitch like a queen of the platform. But somewhere along the way, the talk around her flipped, from praise and admiration to doubts and flat-out roasting. People don't even debate if she messed up anymore. They debate which scandal was her biggest L.
What was my laugh at the beginning of that?
You run like a...
Was it when she called her critics broke boys for complaining about her overpriced cookies? That moment had the internet on fire. Or maybe it was when she tried to silence another creator's video with copyright strikes, only for her own emails to expose her moves. That one had everyone talking. And let's not forget the never-ending speeches about morals and ethics, preaching like she was the voice of reason, until she got caught doing the same thing she dragged others for. The hypocrisy was too loud to ignore. Or maybe her messiest moment wasn't even that serious, but way pettier, like when she turned her own brother's wedding into a personal photo shoot, posing like it was her big day. Or when she deleted a tweet calling out drama culture while being one of the biggest drama starters on the internet herself. The irony was wild. The truth is, Pokimane's career is packed with moments that make people stop and ask, what went wrong? How did Twitch's once wholesome sweetheart become one of the most clowned-on creators in the game?
Girl got 2 PCs, 2 cats, 3 monitors, 3 apartments, 6 phones. And what about...
How did someone who used to pull in millions just by playing League of Legends end up becoming the face of hypocrisy, privilege, and influencer ego? And the real question, why does every new rebrand somehow crash right back into chaos? Every fresh start turns into another scandal. To figure that out, we gotta rewind to before the sponsors, before the million-dollar deals, before the perfectly staged photo shoots and polished apology videos. Pokimane's rise started way before the fame machine kicked in. It all began when she made a simple move that changed her life, streaming her casual League of Legends games live on Twitch. Back in 2013, she started hitting that Go Live button regularly, and that's where everything began. Those first few streams weren't about flashy plays or high-ranked victories. Pokimane was never known as some League of Legends prodigy. What caught people's eyes wasn't the scoreboard, it was her. Her charm on camera stood out right away. She talked straight to chat, reacted big to everything, and made viewers feel like they were chilling with a friend, not just watching some sweaty gamer grind for rank. That vibe became her secret sauce. Her personality, not her gameplay, was what pulled people in, and it built a foundation for her growing fan base fast.
It's a practice called noting.
Most of that early crowd was made up of young male viewers
I wish this, and I wish that, and I wish I did this, and I wish they did that, and blah, 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 blah.
who found her mix of friendliness, approachability, and good looks totally unique in a scene dominated by guys. In a space where most streams were all about strategy and competition, Pokimane brought warmth and connection, and people couldn't get enough of her. But here's where things took a dark turn. Those same loyal fans weren't just watching her, they were sending donations, spamming compliments, and building a kind of one-sided emotional bond with her on screen. It was intense. That parasocial energy became the engine behind her early fame, until it all came crashing down with her first major controversy. During one of her early League streams, Pokimane casually dropped a racial slur, a moment that was clipped and spread online instantly. That single slip cast a huge shadow over her career right as it was taken off. Back then, Pokimane wasn't famous enough for that clip to blow up into a full-on scandal, but the internet's got a long memory. As her fame started climbing, that same clip kept popping up like a ghost she couldn't shake. Every time she landed in new drama, someone would dig it up again as proof that her wholesome image had cracks from the very beginning. Even years later, creators kept bringing it up, treating it like a stain that would haunt her forever. By 2016 and 2017, Pokimane's Twitch presence had exploded, and inside the platform, people were calling her Twitch's wholesome sweetheart. That wasn't by accident, it was a full-on brand move. She'd become super calculated about her image, always making sure her streams looked clean, friendly, and totally safe for sponsors. She leaned into that sweet, bubbly tone, those soft laughs, that polished kindness. It all became part of the Pokimane brand, and it worked. Her numbers kept rising, her fan base kept growing, and she started moving like a pro who knew exactly how fragile fame could be. Every smile, every reaction, every word was intentional, because she knew one wrong move could send her image spiraling all over again. That's when Pokimane started locking down her image, keeping everything clean, upbeat, and drama-free as possible. She built a brand that looked safe, friendly, and picture-perfect for both fans and sponsors. Then came 2018, the year that truly defined her public career. Up until then, she'd been known as Twitch's approachable good girl, the streamer who stayed out of mess. But 2018 proved that no matter how wholesome a creator tries to be, once you hit a certain level of fame, drama will find you. And the first spark that year came from something totally harmless: Pokimane deciding to stream without makeup. Her goal was positive and empowering. She wanted to show younger girls it's okay to be natural online, to feel confident without filters, glam, or heavy edits. For a brief moment, it looked like a sweet, genuine gesture, but then the internet did what it always does: twist it into chaos. During that no-makeup stream, someone grabbed an unflattering screenshot and it spread like wildfire. Within hours, it was plastered all over forums and social media, turning what started as a message of self-love into another viral moment that the internet used to mock her. Trolls went wild, calling Pokimane a catfish and claiming she tricked her viewers just because she looked different without makeup. That one screenshot spread way beyond her fan base and became instant ammo for anyone who already had a problem with her. People ignored the obvious: bad lighting, awkward timing, and the fact that everyone looks different mid-expression. None of it mattered once the internet decided to drag her. That photo turned into a meme people used for years to tear her down. It was harsh, and the backlash hit hard, but Pokimane didn't melt under pressure. She came back swinging with surprising calm and maturity. She spoke directly to her community, calling out the cruelty and reminding everyone that no one should be mocked for how they look. She made it clear people's insecurities aren't a weapon to use against them. Then she took it a step further, dropping a YouTube video where she once again showed her bare face, this time under proper lighting. Instead of hiding, she doubled down on her message and flipped the situation to her advantage. For once, she controlled the story and came out stronger. But that moment also marked the start of a repeating cycle that would follow her career for years. Every time Pokimane tried to show her real self, the internet twisted it into something messy. Even though she handled the no-makeup drama with class, it was just a taste of what was coming. The hate would only grow sharper, and the scandals more complicated. The peace after that controversy didn't last long. By mid to late 2018, Pokimane stumbled into the first major blow that truly cracked her wholesome sweetheart image. This next drama hit hard and left a mark that stuck. It all started with a heated Twitter argument between Pokimane and Keemstar, two names guaranteed to draw attention. They went back and forth, throwing jabs at each other, until both sides eventually deleted the thread. But here's the twist. A smaller creator named 𝗣cie𝗶𝗺'𝘀 had already saved the entire thing. He uploaded it to YouTube as a simple documentation of what went down. No commentary, no shade, just receipts. Still, Pokimane didn't like it. The archived argument made her look bad, and instead of ignoring it, she decided to take it down herself. So she hit 𝗣cie𝗶𝗺'𝘀 with a DMCA strike, hoping to erase the whole situation from the internet. But that move only made things worse. The video was clearly protected under fair use, and people saw the strike as a power play, a way for a big creator to silence a smaller one. That's when the spiral began. What could have been just another online spat turned into a major scandal that damaged her reputation far more than any tweet ever could. As the backlash exploded, Pokimane tried to cool things down, claiming the takedown wasn't actually her idea. She said her network had filed the copyright strike without her knowledge, but that excuse didn't hold up for long. 𝗣cie𝗶𝗺 soon received an email confirming that the strike was manually sent at her request. That one email blew her cover completely, showing that she hadn't just tried to erase the drama, she'd also tried to dodge accountability. In an instant, the narrative flipped. It was no longer about Pokimane can't take criticism, it became Pokimane is using copyright law to silence critics. That framing spread fast across the internet, and people weren't holding back. Then, out of nowhere, 𝗣cie𝗶𝗺 stepped into the situation, and that changed everything. 𝗣cie𝗶𝗺, the biggest YouTuber in the world at the time, called Pokimane directly. He pointed out how hypocritical it was to weaponize copyright, while she herself made reaction-style content that barely counted as transformative. Once he joined the conversation, the controversy exploded on a global scale. When someone with that level of influence speaks up, there's no hiding.
This is who I am. This is who I am.
The fallout was instant and massive. And under all that pressure, Pokimane didn't handle it well. Instead of stepping back or owning up, she got defensive, mocking reaction channels live on stream. She called them lazy, saying she felt sorry for how long it took them to steal content, and then sarcastically mimicked how they edit videos, like to find them, put it together, couple more clips, and then edit it. That moment poured gas on an already raging fire. Her reaction came off smug and defensive, exactly the opposite of what people wanted to see. Viewers felt talked down to, and the anger only grew louder. The backlash got so bad that Pokimane eventually had no choice but to release an apology video. In it, she admitted she was technically within her legal rights to file the copyright claim, but she also confessed that it was morally wrong and not something she should have done. It was a step in the right direction, but by then the damage was already locked in. That whole copyright scandal didn't just bruise her image, it completely changed how people saw her. It set up a pattern that fans and critics began to recognize, document, and even joke about. After 2018, her controversy stopped feeling like one-off mistakes and started looking like part of a loop that kept repeating itself every time something blew up. The internet started calling it the Pokimane cycle. Here's how it goes. She makes a mistake, gets defensive or tries to justify it,
about never saying something that's wrong or in a weird way, and she'll only make statements about things after there's already been a massive community consensus on it.
Vanishes for a bit to let things cool down, then comes back with a polished apology video asking for empathy and a fresh start. Once people noticed that pattern, they couldn't unsee it. From then on, every little misstep she made was judged through that same predictable cycle, and the internet waited for it to play out again and again.
At this point, the internet had her whole playbook memorized. Every time Pokimane posted something even slightly controversial, people were already predicting the apology video before she made it. The once wholesome, soft-spoken persona that used to charm her audience was now being questioned. Fans started to wonder if that sweet, calm energy was even real, or if it was just a polished act made to protect her image. After watching her dodge accountability or bend the truth a few times, more and more people began calling her personality fake, saying it felt more like a performance than authenticity. And nothing proved that shift more than the next controversy she got tangled up in. It all began with a serious misconduct case surrounding 𝗣cie𝗶𝗺, one of her fellow members from OfflineTV. The accusations were heavy. 𝗣cie𝗶𝗺 was accused of entering the bedrooms of both Yvonne and 𝗍cie𝗶𝗺 while drunk and making unwanted advances toward them.
Edit videos and actually put effort into it and make it more entertaining.
It was a shocking situation that rocked the entire OfflineTV house and led to 𝗣cie𝗶𝗺 being kicked out of the group. But instead of stepping back and letting the victims' voices lead the conversation, Pokimane jumped into the spotlight with a long, emotional public statement of her own. Her post wasn't just commentary, it became the headline. Suddenly, the attention started shifting from the victims to her, and that decision drew massive criticism. Many people felt she didn't need to insert herself so heavily into something so serious, but by doing so, she unintentionally made the story about Pokimane once again, and that move reignited every old debate about her need for control and public validation. By stepping in, Pokimane unintentionally shifted the focus away from the misconduct itself and onto her own personal history with 𝗣cie𝗸𝗶𝗺'𝘀. In her statement, she explained that she'd always sensed something off in the house, that 𝗣cie had been spreading rumors, telling others they were in some kind of romantic relationship. Her story steered the spotlight straight toward her feelings and experiences, and before long, the main conversation had drifted away from Yvonne and Lily, the actual victims in the situation. Then things exploded all over again. A leaked 20-page Google Doc written by 𝗣cie himself suddenly hit the internet, and it sent shockwaves through the community. 𝗣cie claimed the document was never meant to be public, but inside were private screenshots, DMs, and timelines that contradicted major parts of Pokimane's version of events. He even revealed flirty messages between the two, stories about sleepovers, and proof that Pokimane had joined in on behind-the-scenes gossip about Yvonne, the very same person she had defended publicly. The leaked document painted a way messier picture than anyone expected. It suggested that Pokimane wasn't just some innocent bystander caught in the middle of drama. She was part of it. It made the whole OfflineTV situation look more like a tangled web of personal tension and blurred boundaries than the clean-cut story she had presented. And right on cue, the Pokimane cycle kicked in again. She responded with her own long Google Doc and a live stream to set the record straight. On stream, she insisted she hadn't known the full extent of 𝗣cie's actions toward Yvonne, and that her past comments about Yvonne's work were only because things had become tense while she was trying to distance herself from 𝗣cie. But the explanations didn't clear up much. The back-and-forth documents only made everything murkier. Viewers were left piecing together fragments from both sides, and the truth felt more confusing than ever. What became crystal clear was that this whole situation should have never been about Pokimane, yet somehow it still ended with her in the center of it all. What started as a serious misconduct case within OfflineTV turned into a full-blown debate about her honesty, her control of narratives, and her habit of inserting herself into controversies that didn't even need her input. Even though this might have been the biggest scandal of her career at that point, it eventually got buried under something even louder, a conversation that would drag Twitch itself into the spotlight. That moment came when Pokimane accidentally flashed explicit content on her stream and got no ban for it. More than 10,000 viewers were watching live when it happened, and the clip spread instantly across social media. Everyone assumed Twitch would react fast, just like they always did with other streamers who made similar mistakes. But instead of a suspension or strike, Pokimane only got a verbal warning. Fans were stunned. The double standard was impossible to ignore. Around the same time, another major streamer, 𝗣cie𝗸𝗶𝗺, had been banned for showing a single accidental frame of a YouTube video, something barely visible until Twitch staff pointed it out themselves. His punishment was immediate and harsh, but Pokimane's situation brushed off like it was nothing. That contrast lit a fire under the community. People started calling out Twitch's favoritism towards its top-tier female creators, especially those with massive sponsorships and squeaky clean, brand-safe images. Pokimane's no-ban moment became the ultimate example in every conversation about Twitch's uneven treatment of streamers. What was just another on-stream slip turned into a rallying cry for everyone tired of seeing bias play out in real time. As debates about Twitch's favoritism kept raging, Pokimane found herself in yet another mess, one that only added fuel to her growing image problem. During this same period, she claimed that the word simp was misogynistic, saying it was used to tear down men who supported women online. But the internet wasn't buying it. The backlash hit instantly because the term simp overwhelmingly targets men, not women, and to most people, her take sounded more self-serving than socially aware. Critics pointed out how convenient her statement was. By labeling simp as misogyny, she seemed to be protecting the very audience that boosted her success, the young male viewers who
$28 for cookies? It's 4 bags.
$7 a bag. I know math is hard.
Constantly donated, defended her online, and treated her like an idol. To many, it looked less like she was fighting for respect and more like she was shielding the parasocial fan culture that had become her biggest asset.
People started connecting the dots. They brought up her history of
You're an idiot, but
If you're a broke boy, just say
teasing camera angles, leaning forward on stream, and cultivating the mostly male fan base who adored her. Suddenly, the narrative around Pokimane shifted again. It wasn't just Pokimane has simps, it was Pokimane plays into it. Viewers began saying she didn't just attract that kind of fan, she pandered to them, nurtured their attention, and then called any criticism of that dynamic an attack on women. By this point, her image had transformed completely. To many, Pokimane no longer looked like a victim of constant online harassment. She looked like someone who knew exactly how to use public sympathy, moral arguments, and her massive platform to her own advantage whenever it suited her. The whole kick situation was supposed to be another moment for Pokimane to flex her industry knowledge, but this time it completely backfired. During a live stream, she decided to explain why she thought Kick wasn't a serious rival to Twitch. With total confidence, she claimed that Kick wasn't even a real competitor because it ran on services owned by Amazon. And since Amazon owns Twitch, she said Kick was basically just feeding money back into Twitch's parent company and could be cut off anytime Amazon wanted. In her words, Kick was like a smaller fish swimming in Amazon's tank, completely dependent on the giant that could shut it down whenever it felt like it. She even doubled down, saying that people who believed Kick was taking over just didn't understand the business side of streaming. Her tone came off as smug and condescending, like she was talking down to her audience instead of breaking things down for them. But the internet didn't let that slide for a second. Clips of her explanation spread across social media at lightning speed, and other streamers started reacting immediately. 𝗣cie𝗸𝗶𝗺 in particular jumped in and torched her take. He calmly explained why her statement didn't make sense from a technical or business standpoint. He pointed out that both Twitch and Kick use Amazon Web Services, but as paying customers, not as internal divisions under Twitch's control. In other words, Twitch can't just pick up the phone and have Kick erased from existence. 𝗣cie𝗸𝗶𝗺 and others made it clear Pokimane's confident industry breakdown was completely wrong, and her attitude while delivering it made the backlash even worse. What was meant to show her business smarts instead made her look out of touch, and the internet wasted no time calling her out for it. Her industry breakdown quickly started looking less like expertise and more like overconfidence gone wrong. Not only were her claims inaccurate, but the way she said them, talking down to anyone who disagreed, made the whole thing even worse. Viewers called her tone smug and dismissive, and instead of softening her stance or admitting the mistake, Pokimane tried to spin the outrage in a totally different direction. As criticism piled up, she began framing the outrage as misogyny. She said the hate wasn't really about her being wrong, it was about her being a woman sharing strong opinions in a male-dominated space. In her eyes, people weren't mad at her misunderstanding of Twitch, Amazon, and Kick's business ties. They were just uncomfortable seeing a confident woman speak on industry topics. That argument immediately shifted the focus. The conversation went from Pokimane gave a bad take to Pokimane is being targeted for her gender. Some fans agreed with her, saying the backlash had crossed into sexist territory, but plenty of others pushed back, pointing out that no one was questioning her because she's a woman. They were questioning her because her info was just wrong. And while that debate raged, something huge dropped that made her comments look even more out of touch. Just a few days later, massive news broke. 𝗣cie𝗸𝗶𝗺 had signed a $100 million streaming deal with Kick. The entire industry was stunned. Creators everywhere started congratulating him, calling it one of the biggest moves in streaming history. And at the same time, it made Pokimane's "Kick isn't a real competitor" comment age terribly. Pokimane took a completely different route than everyone else when the 𝗣cie𝗸𝗶𝗺 Kick deal dropped, and it blew up in her face fast. On stream, instead of celebrating or even staying neutral, she went on record saying she would never compromise her morals for money. She framed the Kick deal as shady and unethical, even calling 𝗣cie𝗸𝗶𝗺 morally bankrupt for taking it. Her tone came off as smug and self-righteous, like she saw herself as the moral compass of the entire streaming industry, and 𝗣cie had fallen below her standards. That instantly rubbed people the wrong way. There's a huge difference between saying, "I wouldn't take that deal," and "you're immoral for taking it," and she completely crossed that line. Fans and creators alike started calling her out for acting superior instead of simply expressing a personal choice. But things got even worse once her own financial history came to light. During a later interview and stream, Pokimane revealed that she had sold her stake in a company she co-founded, and the payout was massive. Suddenly, the hypocrisy became impossible to ignore. She had publicly condemned another streamer's financial gain while quietly cashing out on a huge profit of her own. Before that contradiction could even fade, 𝗣cie𝗶𝗺 added more drama to the mix, revealing that Pokimane had personally questioned her public support of 𝗣cie𝗸𝗀's kick deal. That little detail made everything look even more controlling, like Pokimane wasn't just disagreeing with the deal, she was trying to police how other creators reacted to it. The backlash got even louder, and the morals over money act started to crumble fast. The tone of Pokimane's private messages made it pretty clear she wasn't just sharing her opinion, she was pressuring her friend to back away from supporting 𝗣cie𝗸𝗀's kick deal. She genuinely believed that showing any public support for him was the wrong move, and that mindset quickly turned the situation into something explosive. Things boiled over when Pokimane jumped into a live call with 𝗣cie𝗸𝗀 and Hassan. What could have been a calm, respectful debate instantly spiraled into chaos. Instead of discussing things peacefully, Pokimane's tone came off sharp, irritated, and condescending. She interrupted them mid-sentence, talked down to both of them, and kept hammering her moral stance like she was the voice of reason while they were beneath her. The tension was so uncomfortable that the call went viral for all the wrong reasons. Viewers flooded social media saying she sounded arrogant and dismissive, not principled. What was supposed to be a moral discussion turned into another viral clip painting her as self-righteous and combative. By the end of it, her attempt to look like the moral leader of streaming actually backfired, hurting her image even more than 𝗣cie𝗸𝗀's $100 million deal ever did. And just when things seemed like they might settle down, another smaller but symbolic controversy popped up. During a stream where Pokimane was talking about criticism she'd been getting, she casually referred to a female critic as a pick-me. The comment only lasted a few seconds, but it spread online almost instantly. The problem? That phrase is widely recognized as a misogynistic insult used to shame women by implying they're desperate for male approval. For someone who had positioned herself as a voice for women in streaming, that one offhand remark looked bad, really bad. It reinforced the growing belief that Pokimane's moral standards only applied when it benefited her. Hearing that pick-me insult come from someone who had spent years branding herself as a defender of women and an advocate against misogyny sparked instant backlash. For years, Pokimane had positioned herself as someone who fights online harassment and calls out toxic behavior. Yet here she was, using a gendered insult to tear down another woman just because she didn't like what that woman said. The hypocrisy was impossible to ignore, and fans started questioning whether her advocacy was ever genuine at all. But that drama was nothing compared to what came next, the controversy that many call the biggest PR disaster of Pokimane's entire career. This one hit every single weak point in her image at once: arrogance, hypocrisy, defensiveness, and a total disconnect from how regular people actually live. It all started when Pokimane launched her premium cookie brand, selling 4 small bags for around $28. From the jump, people were side-eyeing the price tag, calling it ridiculous and out of touch. But the backlash didn't stop there. Within hours of the product announcement, people started pointing out that her cookies looked almost identical to another brand's existing product. Accusations of copying someone else's recipe and design spread across social media like wildfire. Instead of staying calm or clarifying things properly, she made it so much worse. On a later stream, while addressing the criticism, she laughed it off, mocked people for complaining about the price, and even called her critics poor.
That moment became infamous instantly. Viewers saw it as proof that she wasn't just out of touch, she was openly dismissive of the same community that had built her career. What was supposed to be a cute side business turned into a massive scandal that perfectly captured everything people were already criticizing her for.
Her tone during that stream completely transformed the cookie controversy from a simple marketing misstep into a full-blown character crisis. With a smirk, she said, "If you're a broke boy, just say so," dismissing every valid complaint about her $28 cookie bags as jealousy or insecurity. She even went as far as calling people idiots for questioning the price of a snack brand that looked mass-produced and overpriced. That attitude was the breaking point for a lot of people. Her response came off as arrogant, out of touch, and flat-out elitist, and the internet erupted. Overnight, the broke boy line turned into one of the biggest culture war moments she had ever sparked. It wasn't just about cookies anymore. It was about class, ego, and how detached she seemed from the very audience that made her famous. And right on cue, Pokimane slipped right back into her familiar cycle. She deleted the harsh comments, posted a soft-toned clarification, and claimed the remarks were just a joke. But by then, it was way too late. The broke boy quote stuck like glue. It became permanently tied to her online identity. Fans stopped seeing her as the relatable, down-to-earth streamer who started on Twitch years ago. Instead, she was now viewed as a wealthy influencer looking down on her community from a distance. But just as the backlash started cooling off, Pokimane sparked another fire, this time with a tweet that managed to be even more tone-deaf. Out of nowhere, she posted, "I miss when streaming was about gaming, not drama, baiting, and clip farming." The sentiment wasn't the problem, it was who it came from. Within minutes, her replies exploded with people calling her out for hypocrisy. Viewers flooded her mentions, pointing out that Pokimane was one of the pioneers of personality-based streaming, someone who built her success on big face cams, emotional reactions, and commentary about internet drama. People didn't just see the tweet as ironic, they saw it as proof that Pokimane had completely lost touch with the streaming culture she helped create. What was meant to sound nostalgic only reminded everyone that she had become exactly what she was complaining about. Pokimane's tweet about missing the old days of streaming backfired fast because, let's be real, her career didn't blow up because of pro-level gameplay or mechanical skill. It skyrocketed because she mastered the personality-driven, reaction-heavy meta she now claimed to hate. The irony wasn't lost on anyone, and the internet wasted no time dragging her for it. The backlash kicked into overdrive when 𝗣cie𝗸𝗶𝗺 jumped into the conversation. In a calm but brutal breakdown, he gave context that cut right through Pokimane's nostalgic framing. He reminded viewers that Pokimane had always commented on drama, especially when it was safe or beneficial for her image. He pointed out that she only spoke up after a controversy reached a comfortable consensus online, never when it was risky or early in the conversation. His critique hit hard because it painted her tweet as revisionist and defensive, not some heartfelt reflection about the streaming world. And when clips of 𝗣cie𝗸𝗶𝗺's reaction started circulating across Twitter, TikTok, and YouTube, the message was clear. Pokimane wasn't being honest about her role in shaping the exact culture she now complaining about. The tweet quickly turned into another case of right message, wrong person. It got quote-tweeted into oblivion, flooded with sarcastic replies and memes roasting her for hypocrisy. Eventually, as the ratio spiraled completely out of control, Pokimane deleted the tweet altogether, but the damage was already done. Not long after that PR mess, she found herself in yet another controversy, this time over something much more personal, her breakup advice. In a new video, Pokimane shared what she called her major psychological tip for getting over someone. Instead of offering the usual self-care or go to the gym cliches, she introduced her own technique, something she referred to as noting. She explained that it involved repeatedly acknowledging your thoughts and emotions without judgment, claiming that over time, this helps retrain your brain and move on.
It was meant to sound deep and therapeutic, but the internet's reaction was mixed, and some thought she was overcomplicating basic emotional recovery advice. The reaction to Pokimane's breakup advice was absolutely brutal. Viewers tore it apart, calling it shallow, impractical, and totally disconnected from how real people process heartbreak. Clips flooded social media, showing her brushing off traditional coping methods like spending time with friends, working on yourself, or simply giving things time. Instead, she suggested noting, which boiled down to watching TikToks and mentally congratulating yourself for staying distracted for 30 seconds. People couldn't believe how tone-deaf it sounded. Comment sections blew up with jokes calling it the final boss of cringe Pokimane. What was meant to sound wise and reflective ended up feeling robotic and empty, like another PR moment instead of something real. Fans said it perfectly captured the phase she was in. Everything she said felt curated, overly polished, or intentionally comedic. Her effort to sound deep just made her seem more disconnected from how normal people actually deal with pain. That moment didn't exist in isolation. It became part of a growing pattern. Each time Pokimane tried to be authentic or relatable, her reputation took another hit. Every new controversy dragged her old ones back into the spotlight. Clips, screenshots, and scandals from nearly a decade ago resurfaced, making it seem like she'd never truly learned from any of her mistakes.
People began comparing the old Poki to the version they see now, noticing how drastically her vibe had changed. She'd gone from a laid-back, friendly gamer who just wanted to have fun online to someone who reacts sharply to criticism, over-explains every issue, and often escalates situations instead of diffusing them. Even her apology pattern became a running joke. Fans could predict every beat: the backlash, the defensiveness, the temporary break, and the polished "I've grown from this" speech afterward. This perception only got worse with her constant contradictions. She'd say one thing and do another, condemning gambling one week, then publicly going after creators who took gambling sponsorships the next. The double standards were impossible to ignore, and they chipped away at her credibility every single time. Even small incidents, like the infamous wedding photo shoot at her brother's ceremony, kept coming back as examples of how she tries to appear humble and grounded while accidentally proving the opposite. What should have been minor missteps turned into symbols of a larger problem: the internet's growing belief that Pokimane had lost touch not just with her audience, but with the person she used to be. At this stage, Pokimane's story feels less like a collection of random controversies and more like the slow unraveling of a public image she can't quite control anymore. Every move she makes, every tweet, every stream, every clarification seems to fuel the same narrative that's followed her for years: the polished, corporate-friendly streamer who can't stop stepping on her own brand. What's wild is that none of this came out of nowhere. Pokimane has spent over a decade in the spotlight, trying to balance being a businesswoman, a public figure, and a relatable human being in an environment that never forgives mistakes. Somewhere along the way, that balance snapped. She became too aware of her image, so aware that everything now feels calculated. Even her genuine moments are met with suspicion because people assume there's a PR motive hiding behind every smile. And that's the real tragedy of her career's evolution. The same traits that made her famous, her charm, her confidence, her calm control, are now the very things people use against her. Every time she tries to share advice, it's branded as fake. Every time she apologizes, it's called manipulative. Every time she shows emotion, people accuse her of acting. The internet doesn't just dislike her missteps anymore, it expects them. But maybe the bigger question is why her controversies always hit so hard. Part of it is scale. Pokimane isn't just another streamer, she's a symbol. For years, she's represented the safe face of Twitch, sponsor-approved, brand-polished, and squeaky clean. So when she slips, even a little, it feels like a crack in that perfect image the industry built around her. Every controversy becomes bigger than her. It becomes a reflection of Twitch culture, influencer entitlement, and how fame changes people. In the end, Pokimane's story might not be about good or bad. It's about transformation.
The once down-to-earth gamer girl became an empire, and with that came the weight of being endlessly watched, judged, and dissected. Maybe she has changed. Maybe fame reshaped her in ways she never saw coming. Or maybe she's the same person she's always been, just magnified by years of pressure, success, and constant scrutiny. Whether people love her or can't stand her, one thing is undeniable. Pokimane's impact on internet culture is massive. She didn't just help define Twitch's golden era, she helped define what influencer accountability even looks like. And for better or worse, every misstep, every backlash, every so-called cringe moment has made her one of the most studied, criticized, and unforgettable figures in online entertainment. Her story isn't over yet, but if history's any clue, whatever happens next won't be quiet. It'll trend, divide the internet, and once again remind everyone that in the world of streaming, no image stays untouchable forever. As 2025 rolls in, Pokimane stands at a strange crossroads, a mix of legacy and controversy, success and fatigue. She's still one of the most recognizable faces in streaming, but the tone around her name has changed completely. What used to be admiration has turned into constant analysis, endless debates, and the kind of internet fatigue that comes when people have simply seen too much.
There's no denying her accomplishments. She helped shape Twitch culture, pushed boundaries for women in gaming, and turned streaming into a mainstream career path. But somewhere along that climb, her reputation twisted into something more complicated. Fans used to root for her. Now they study her. Every slip, every relatable moment, every word she says gets dissected, turned into content, and fed back into the same cycle that built and now sustains her fame. And maybe that's the cruel irony of Pokimane's career. She built her empire on transparency, on letting viewers into her world, but that same transparency became her biggest curse. The audience doesn't just watch anymore, they investigate, critique, and archive every second of her life. Every smile becomes strategy, every pause becomes performance, and every apology becomes a script. Despite all that, she keeps going. Pokimane continues streaming, launching brands, collaborating with creators, and posting content like nothing phases him. Some see it as resilience, others see it as denial. But either way, it's clear she's not stepping away. Maybe she can't, because walking away from streaming would mean leaving behind the identity she spent her entire adult life building. Still, there's a quiet shift happening. Her streams feel more cautious now, her tweets more measured. You can sense that she knows how fragile her reputation has become. The once effortless energy is gone, replaced by someone constantly editing herself in real time, terrified of giving the internet another quote to turn into a headline. It's a version of Pokimane that feels polished to perfection, but stripped of the spark that made people fall for her in the first place. But here's the thing. No matter how many scandals she faces, Pokimane remains a key figure in the story of internet fame. She's both a warning and a blueprint, proof that success online doesn't come without constant judgment, and that being perfect online is its own kind of trap. She's learned, maybe the hard way, that once the internet crowns you, it also waits for your fall. Whether she can rebuild her image or not, Pokimane's legacy is already cemented. She showed the world how powerful an online personality could become and how quickly that power can turn into pressure. Her story isn't just about fame or even about mistakes. It's about the impossible expectations placed on anyone who lives their life in front of millions. And maybe that's how she'll be remembered, not as a villain, not as a hero, but as the streamer who became the ultimate reflection of the internet itself, captivating, contradictory, and constantly caught between authenticity and performance. After everything, every scandal, apology, rebrand, and viral clip, Pokimane's story stands as one of the most fascinating sagas in internet history. She didn't just play the streaming game, she became it. From her early League of Legends days to global fame and controversy, her journey mirrors the evolution of online celebrity itself, fast, chaotic, and brutally unforgiving. What makes her story so gripping isn't just the drama, it's the transformation. We've watched her grow from a relatable gamer with a webcam and a dream into a multi-million-dollar powerhouse whose every move sparks debate. Along the way, she's been praised, mocked, idolized, and criticized, sometimes all at once. She's built an empire on charm, strategy, and hustle, but also faced the kind of backlash that would crush most creators. And still, she's here, streaming, posting, building and trying to find that balance between authenticity and perfection in a world that punishes both. Whether you love her or can't stand her, Pokimane's name never leaves the timeline for long. Every controversy only cements her place as one of the most talked about, analyzed, and polarizing figures on the internet. Maybe that's the real lesson behind all of this. Being famous online isn't about being perfect, it's about surviving imperfection in front of millions. Pokimane's career has shown us what happens when the internet builds someone up too high, then demands their downfall just to feel balanced again. It's messy, dramatic, and human, and that's exactly why people can't stop watching. Through every broke boy comment, every deleted tweet, every so-called cringe moment, one truth remains. Pokimane represents the double-edged sword of internet fame. She's proof that charisma can turn into controversy overnight, and that no matter how many times you rebrand, the internet never forgets. Yet, despite the chaos, she's still standing. One stream, one brand, one viral clip at a time. Maybe that's what keeps her story so alive, the tension between falling apart and staying unshakable. Because even when the internet decides you've lost, if you're still on their screens, you've already won a little bit. So, whether you see Pokimane as an icon, a cautionary tale, or a symbol of the influencer era, her story is far from over. In the world of streaming, where fame burns bright and fast, she remains a name that refuses to fade. If you made it this far, you know what to do. Smash that like button, subscribe for more deep dives, and share this video with your friends who live for online drama. And of course, drop a comment below. Do you think Pokimane can ever truly rebrand again, or has the internet already made up its mind? Your thoughts might just spark the next big conversation, because when it comes to Pokimane, the story never really ends.